This video is going over adding and subtracting integers. As a friendly reminder, integers include positive and negative numbers. So go ahead and grab your pencil and fill that in these top two blanks. Positive and negative numbers. Our helpful hint for today is to rewrite subtraction problems as adding two negative numbers to make it easier for yourself. Let's take a look at this first example. This first example says -5 minus 8. That is not super fun to look at, and it's kind of confusing. So instead, I'm going to rewrite it as -5, and then I'm going to add in this little plus right here, plus -8. So now, the two strategies we talked about last class, we have visuals, so we have 5 negatives here and 8 negatives down here. Then on our T-chart, I had a -5, so I put 5 dots over here. And then I had a -8, so I put 8 more dots over here. As we're noticing, none of them are canceling out because there's no positives. That's what we would need to cancel something out. Since there isn't any, we just add our two numbers together. 5 plus 8 is 13, and since we only have things on the negative side of our chart, or only negatives, our answer is -13. Take a second and think, how could you rewrite this next question? Push play on the video once you've decided what you think. How could we rewrite this as an addition problem? This is how I would rewrite this question. -9 plus -7 to find out what my answer would be. I again can use the visual or T-chart strategy by drawing first how many negatives? 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. Perfect. Then I'm going to look at my next number, a -7. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. No addition symbol, so there's nothing I can cross out. Let me draw a little T-chart. First number, -9, so I'm going to draw 9 dots on the negative side. Okay, and then I've got a -7, so I'm going to draw 7 dots on the negative side. Amazing. There are no dots on the positive side and there are no pluses, so there's nothing to cancel out, so I'm just adding 9 plus 7. 9 plus 7 is 16. Double checking, all the signs are telling me my answer should be negative, so my answer is -16. Take a second and try the next problem on your own. Make sure to first start by rewriting -8 minus 4 as an addition problem. To rewrite it, I would get -8 plus -4. I drew my 8 negatives here and my 4 negatives down here. I drew my 8 dots on the negative side here and my 4 dots on the negative side here. I still don't have anything I can cancel out, so if I add 8 plus 4, I get 12, and all the signs are telling me my answer should be negative. Take a second and try the next problem, or the next two problems, on your own using these same strategies. Take a look at these last two examples to see how I solved them. The first problem we set up as -6 plus -5. I decided to use a second color to help visualize how I'm adding two different numbers, but they're still on the same side of my T-chart and the same symbol. If I add up these -6 and these -5 symbols, I get 11. And again, looking at all these signs, it's telling me my answer needs to be negative. Our last example is going to be the same question as -12 plus -2. I drew out 12 negatives and I put 12 dots on the negative side in pink right here. Then I switched to another color and I drew 2 negatives and 2 additional dots on the negative side. If I put 12 and 2 together, I end up with 14. And again, all these signs are showing me my answer is going to be negative. Take a second to make sure you've got everything that you need written down on your notes paper. It should look similar to this if you are all done. Once you're done with this page, we are going to flip our page over and take a look at the back side for a few more example problems. Once you've done that, the first thing we're going to do is again fill in the top. Integers include positive and negative numbers. So take a second to go ahead and write in those two words. Our helpful hint for this note page is that when we have two negatives in a row, they actually turn into a plus sign. I'm going to show you how that works on this first example right here. It says -5 minus negative 8. So as you can see, it has two negative signs right in a row. When we have those two negative signs, that's what turns right into a positive right there to say negative 5 plus 8. Now that I have that problem, it becomes a lot easier to use the strategies we've already practiced. So I drew 5 negative signs and 8 positive signs. Or on my T-chart, I drew 5 dots on the negative side because it's a negative 5. And then since it's a plus 8, I know it used to be negative, but now that we used our helpful hint, it says plus 8. So I drew 8 dots on the positive side. Remembering that one positive and one negative cancel each other out, I was able to cross off 5 negatives and 5 positives, which left 3 positives behind. The same thing happened on my T-chart. I was able to cross off 5 dots, and there were 3 dots left on the positive side, so my answer would be 3 or positive 3. Let's take a second and look at the next example. It says negative 9 minus negative 7. To rewrite that, I would keep the negative 9 the same, and I would take these two negatives and squish them into one giant positive. So my question is going to say negative 9 plus 7. To draw that out, it says negative 9, so I'm going to draw 9 negative signs. And then it says plus 7, so I'm going to draw 7 plus signs. Okay, next I'm going to get ready to draw my T-chart. I have a negative 9, so I'm going to go ahead and put 9 dots on the negative side. And then I have a positive 7, so I'm going to put 7 dots on the positive side. All right. The next step is to start crossing off pairs or one positive and one negative so that they cancel each other out. Go ahead and try and do that on your own and push play on the video when you're ready to check your answer. The answer you should have gotten is negative 2. If we cross off 7 of the plus and minuses, there are only 2 left, 2 negatives or 2 dots on the negative side left over to give us an answer of negative 2. Let's take a look at the next question. The next problem says negative 8 minus negative 4. To rewrite that, I would take these two negatives that are together and make one giant plus sign, so my problem would say negative 8 plus 4. Go ahead and pick one of these strategies to try on your own and see what answer you get. Then press play on this video to resume watching. Double check whichever strategy you tried. Does it look like these pictures? After you've checked your pictures, make sure you use your pencil to cross off one positive for every one negative. So there's a buddy, they cancel out. And let's see how many are left. I'm seeing 4 and they are negatives. Let's take a look at our T-chart. I'm seeing a dot on both sides, a dot on both sides, a dot on both sides, and there are 4 dots left on the negative side. So our final answer is negative 4. There are 2 more examples on this page. How do you think you would rewrite this first question? Try that and then push play to resume the video. If you put negative 6 plus 5, you would be correct. How would you rewrite this second question? Make your best guess in this space right here, then push play to check your answer. That problem would be written as negative 12 plus 2. Go ahead and try at least one strategy to solve these 2 questions and find your final answer. Push play when you're ready to finish watching this video and see the correct answers. Look over the last 2 examples. If you did a visual or a T-chart, does your work match what it shows in the video? The correct answer should be negative 1 for negative 6 plus 5, and for negative 12 plus 2, the answer should be negative 10. Take a second to make sure you have your notes page entirely filled out. It should look like this when you're done. Have a great day, and best of luck solving problems with integers.